Hey book lovers, Victoria here and you're watching My Books Areme. Today I'm bringing you my March book haul, and I got 14 books in March, which was a little bit more than I was expecting to get. But when I look at my pile, I realised that firstly I was sent one book for review from a publisher. Some of the books I actually need for university. Some of them I got second hand on eBay. And quite a few of them were actually bargain buys on Booktopia, and some of them I just really want to read. Also, I've actually finished reading 2 of them, and I anticipate finishing 2 of them over the weekend, so I think that's pretty good. So let's stop this rambling and get into the books. So the first book I got this month is Brian's Winter by Gary Paulson, and this is the 3rd book in the Brian Saga series. The first book, Hatchet, I hauled a couple of months ago, and I've started reading that. I'm slowly getting through that. It's not even that long, but anyway, I read Hatchet back in high school, and I remember going on to Brian's Winter, which when I read it was called Hatchet Winter. And it is an alternate ending to Hatchet. At the end of Hatchet, spoiler alert, Brian gets rescued. So at the end of this one, this one is as if he didn't get rescued and he has to try and survive through the winter in the harsh Canadian wilderness. So yeah, I'm very excited to read this. Hopefully I get around to it soon. I just, like I said, have to finish Hatchet. My only problem with this series is the fact that this is Hatchet. This first book was never done in the same edition as the rest of the books in the series, and I think that is just stupid and really frustrating because they've re-released these books a couple of times with different cover editions, but never the first book. That is annoying. I hate it when publishers do that. Secondly, it is a completely different size, so it's going to look so silly on my bookshelf. Like, I could get away, I could deal with it if it was the same size as this one and still looked different, because they're not too bad. But the fact that they're different sizes and all the other books are going to be like this is frustrating. I hate it when publishers do that. So anyway, that's the first book I got. The next book I'm very excited about, and I will hopefully be reading it during April, and this book was kindly sent to me by Hatchet Australia, so thank you so much, Hatchet. And that is Beloved Poison by E.S. Thompson. This is, I'm pretty sure it's an adult novel, but this is a medical historical fiction set during the late 1800s in St. Saviour's Infirmary, and it is still active, but the doctors are still there, still slogging away through the halls and still bickering and everything, but obviously it's awaiting demolition. And our main character, Jem Flockhart, is a secret apothecary, and she ends up uncovering in the infirmary's old chapel 6 tiny coffins. Inside each are a handful of dried flowers and a bundle of mouldering rags, and so she starts to delve a little bit deeper into the history of this infirmary to try and figure out what all these are, and uncovers some dark and deep and twisty secrets. So this one sounds really cool. This book is absolutely gorgeous. Like, I just want to look at it all day. It is so beautiful. I can't wait to read it. I haven't read anything that is medical historical fiction, so I'm really keen to see what this one's about. What I've seen, it has gotten some really great reviews, and it's very, I can't think of the word, but it's meant to be a beautiful read. So I'm so excited to get into this during April. Next 3 books you will have seen if you watched my university reads video for semester 1 this year. I will link to it below if you are interested in learning more about all these next 3 books. So the first one is The Romance of the Forest by Anne Radcliffe. I'm currently reading these. I'm anticipating finishing it over the weekend because I've got an audiobook. And this is set in France, and it's about this family who take in this girl while they're fleeing Paris from creditors for debt, and they find an abandoned abbey, and they decide in the middle of the forest, and they decide they're going to stay there because no one goes near it, because there is sort of some creepy story in the village about it. And it's really just about the main character, Adeline. She uncovers a skeleton, a manuscript, and a rusty dagger in some concealed rooms, and then she finds herself at the mercy of the abbey's proprietor. And yeah, I don't really know what this is actually about, like, to be honest. And I'm not that far in. Like I said, I have been listening to the audiobook. It's a long audiobook. It's a very poetic read. It's a gothic romance, and Anne Radcliffe goes a little bit overboard with her descriptions of nature and everything, which is slightly annoying, but I'm hoping to finish it over the weekend. The next book is a then the next book is a series of novellas, and that is by D.H. Lawrence, and that is The Fox, the Captain's Doll, and the Ladybird. I only have to read the Captain's Doll for university, but I am planning on reading the other two, and these are centered around World War One, from a couple of different perspectives. So I'm really keen to read this one. I'm definitely anticipating enjoying this, and I will be reading it at the end of April. Next one I know literally nothing about. The blurb doesn't even help me at all, and that is The Mill and the Floss by George Eliot. It is just a novel of grand passions and tormented lives, and what I've seen, it's really a heavy novel. So hopefully I will be able to enjoy it. I have the audiobook for this one, and I will definitely be utilizing it because I feel like I'm gonna have trouble getting through it. So the next book is one of the books that I've actually finished this month, and it's also a YouTuber book, and that is The Amazing Book Is Not on Fire: The World of Dan and Phil by Dan Howell and Phil Lester, aka Dan's Not on Fire and Amazing Phil. If you want to know more of my thoughts about this and more about what this book is, then please check out my non-spoiler review. I will link to it below, and I'll put a little card up here. But this is essentially like a memoir, but it's a really cool memoir because it's just filled with randomness about Dan and Phil, and I really love it. It was such an enjoyable read, so I will talk about this more in my wrap up, but do go check out my review. The next book is also another one that I finished during the month, and it is a graphic novel slash comic book bind up, whatever you want to call it. I really don't know. I'm going to call it a graphic novel, and that is The Fade Out Act 1 by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips with colorist Elizabeth Brutweiser. And this is the first of 3 volumes set in Hollywood during 1948 on the set of a noir film. On the set of a noir film, and it's a noir style comic about a noir film where the starlet has committed suicide, but really she has killed herself. Well, no, but really she's been murdered, I mean, and those on the inside of Hollywood are trying to cover it up as a suicide because she was murdered, and it's all very sinister and really cool, and I loved this so much. I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. I loved the art style. It's very 40s, it's very noir-y, and I just really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. I will talk about this more in my wrap up though. Next book is a book that I'm actually currently reading, and it is another YouTuber book, and it's amazing, and that is Binge by Tyler Oakley. This book is so fun. It is a collection of, it is a collection of witty, personal and hilarious essays. So it's a memoir, but it's a different version of a memoir. It's just all different sort of stories and anecdotes that Tyler is telling, and they're not in any sort of order or anything. Some of the things he talks about in here, you've got Dial-Up Delight, Fecal Matters, Anything for $1, The Gay Chapter, The One That Got Away, Unnecessary Holiday Traditions, Beyonce for the Day, Mood Killer, The Apple Doesn't Fall Far, What Michelle Obama Smells Like, 10 Commandments, and Melancholy Fantasies, just to name a few. It's so enjoyable. I'm going to talk about this more in my wrap up because I anticipate also finishing this one over the weekend, and yeah, I highly recommend it. If you're a fan of Tyler Oakley, you'll definitely enjoy it. Definitely not recommended for, you know, your younger teens, because he does talk quite a lot about all different sorts of things that are definitely not for a younger audience. I also love about this book, apart from the end paper being friggin' awesome, it's, if I can get to it, it's friggin' purple. If more hardcover books were purple on the inside, I would have them make naked all the time. And I have actually seen that some people have got blue ones and some have got white ones, so I feel very lucky that I've got a purple one. I feel very special because I haven't seen any other purple ones. But yeah, highly recommend it, and I hopefully will finish this over the weekend, so we'll talk about it more in my wrap up. Next book is another book I'm so excited about because I plan on reading it during April, and I'm so glad it's finally arrived, and that is Asylum by Madeline Rowe. I think that's how you say her name. I'm sorry if it's not. This is the first book in the, I think it's the Asylum series, and I think it's a trilogy. But there's 5 books in it because there's a prequel and there's a novella bind up. So I don't really know how many books are in it, but it's a series. It's the first book in a series, and this is, I'm so excited. This is about 16-year-old Dan Crawford, who is going to the New Hampshire College Prep program over the summer, but he's a little bit disappointed because they're not staying in the regular accommodation that they usually stay in. They are staying in the Brooklyn dorm, which is which is formerly a psychiatric hospital. And him and his new friends sort of start to delve into the, they start exploring Brooklyn's twisty halls and hidden basement, and they uncover disturbing secrets about what really went on there. And it's just, the asylum's had a lot darker past than anyone really knew, and it's meant to be really creepy and really cool. And it's also, this is the best part, it's also got creepy photographs from real asylums. I literally can't speak. Like, I've seen this around because the third book came out last year, and a lot of people on BookTube were talking about it. And because I read Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children last year, it came up as a book recommended to me because I'd finished it. And when I found out that this had creepy pictures in it, just like Miss Peregrine's did, I knew I had to read it. I'm so excited to read this. I'm very much into creepy asylum books. Ever since I went to the Beechworth Lunatic Asylum ghost tour last year in May, I've been really into like ghost and asylum and creepy and haunting stories, and I didn't think I'd ever be into those sort of stories, but I am now. So I can't wait to read this because it looks creepy. The cover of all these books looks absolutely gorgeous, and so I hope I enjoy it. I hope I am not getting like my expectations way too high on this book, because I really want to enjoy it. Following up with the creepiness, the next couple of books are also kind of creepy. So the first one is The Way We Fall by Megan Crew. This is the first book in a series. I can't remember what it's called, a trilogy, I can't remember what it's called, but it's about this little island that has this some weird virus sweeping through it, and the bodies are just piling up like mad, and the government ends up quarantining the island. No one can go in and no one can leave, and we follow this 16-year-old girl, Kayla, who is slowly or now starting to lose friends and family to this weird virus, and she's trying to figure out what on earth is going on. And it's meant to be really creepy, and the virus is meant to like, I don't know, doing weird stuff. It kind of feels like the plague. That's what I'm kind of reminded of. I feel like we've got the plague going on this one little island, but we'll see how we go. It's meant to be kind of creepy-ish, so I can't wait to get into this one. So the next book I got was also kind of creepy, or it's kind of meant to be like haunting, and that is 17 and Gone by Nova Ransuma. I think I also said that name right, and I don't really know too much about this, but I'm going to read you the blurb because I think that sounds really cool. Girls go missing every day. Girls make plans to go, but they also vanish without meaning to, and sometimes people confuse one for the other. They slip out bedroom windows and into strange cars. They cross borders. They hitch rides, squeezing themselves into overcrowded back seats, sitting on willing laps. And then there are girls who never reach where they're going, who disappear. These girls are lost, and I'm the only one who's seen them. I know their names. I want to tell everyone about these girls, about what's happening. I want to give warning. I want to give chase. I don't do it too. I'd do it too if I thought someone would believe me. So from what I know from on Goodreads, this is about this girl who sort of has these like dreams and hauntings by these girls who are 17 and they've disappeared, and it's starting to freak her out because she's also 17 and feels like she could be next and doesn't know how to warn anyone about what's going on. But it sounds really cool, and I think it's got pretty good reviews, so I can't wait to give this one a go. Next one is another like haunting, creepy book, and that is The Killing of Kayla Sloane by Kim Harrington. Can I just say, this cover looks beautiful. This is what drew me to this book, because it was a discounted book on Booktopia for their pre-Easter sale, so I picked it. I had to have a look at it because it was so pretty. It's about this girl Jade, who is the new kid in town, a new kid at school, and she's cool with being the new kid. It's alright, but she doesn't get why people keep whispering about her behind her back about something that she doesn't know, and she soon finds out that her house is haunted by a ghost who's seeking not just revenge, but the truth. And it turns out that it is Kayla Sloane, who was the most popular girl in school up until last year, when she died or was killed or something. So I don't really know. It sounds intriguing, and I can't wait to give it a go. It's meant to be really good, and yeah, I can't wait to get into this one, hopefully again very soon. The next book I got is one that I found on eBay by chance, and it sounded interesting, and that is Living Famously, a novel by a star of Neighbours, Melissa Bell, by Melissa Bell and Jason Herberson. Melissa Bell starred in Neighbours during the 1990s as the third Lucy Robinson, and since then she's made guest appearances over the years, the last being last year, and so this is kind of like a memoirish kind of thing. All it is like diary entries kind of thing about what she does. I don't know. I don't really know what it's about, but I like Neighbours. Melissa Bell, I think she's really cool, so I thought I'd give it a go. But yeah, we'll see how we go. Finally, the last book I got is a book from the Penguin Monarchs series. I'm slowly, very, very slowly collecting these books. A little bit slower than I thought I was. I had planned originally to sort of buy a book every month or two, and that never happened, and now there are like 10, 12 books out at the moment, and about 10 more coming out this year. It's ridiculous. If you don't know, the Penguin Monarch series is a 45 book series that Penguin is releasing, each book chronicling the life of a monarch from someone all the way up to Elizabeth II. It's the person who it's someone before William the Conqueror, so some of your actual English monarchs. But anyway, the one I got is for Queen Victoria, Queen, Matriarch and Empress by Jane Ridley. Obviously, Queen Victoria reigned from 1837 to 1901, and let me just tell you, I looked on this during Booktopia's pre-Easter sale, and this turned out to be $10, where they're usually between $16 and $26 depending on how long they've been out. And then I went back the next day and I looked at it, and it was $26. It went up. I'm so glad I got it on the day I did. So I love this. I haven't started these books, but they're just like short, concise books. All of them are roughly the same size, which I really like. My favourite part of this Penguin Monarch series is the fact that when you take off the part just jacket, on the front you have the autograph or the signature of the monarch, and then on the back you have just when they ruled, which I really like. Another really cool thing that I like about these books is that they have different coloured stripes on them, and they symbolise what house they belong in. So the blue ones are for the House of Hanover, so that's really cool. I highly recommend these series if you like the English monarchs, and I can't wait to slowly get more. Hopefully I'm going to try and get at least one every month, so you will probably see more of these books over the coming months. So the last thing I want to share with you guys are some bookmarks that I got this month. I have shown you bookmarks from this place before. I got them from Behind the Pages, which is an Etsy store. I will link to the store and the Instagram account below because they are brilliant. So in the past I've gotten thick bookmarks. This time I got thin ones, which are slightly cheaper, and to be honest I think they're kind of better, but they're exactly the same design. And I also got some special foil ones, which I'll show you. So the regular ones I got, the first one is for Fangirl, obviously by Rainbow Rowell, and on the back it says, "There's nothing more profound than creating something out of nothing." So this one's really, really cool. Next one is for Alice in Wonderland, obviously by Lewis Carroll, and on the back it says, "Imagination is the only weapon in the war against reality." Again, really pretty. And then I got another Rainbow Rowell one, and that one's for Eleanor and Park. And on the back it says, "Her heart is like a butterfly," which I think is actually a quote from the Raven Boys, I think. I'm not quite sure. And then I also got another Harry Potter one. This is my third Harry Potter one, so Harry Potter on the front, and on the back it's the Marauders map, and you have Harry, Ron and Hermione's little names. So then the other two I got are foil ones, and foil ones have well, foil on them. They're nice and glittery, and oh, they're so pretty. So I got them for Red Queen and Glass Sword. Now here I have an original Glass Sword one. It looks fabulous. So the front of these two, put them the right way, look exactly the same as the original ones, but on the back the blood is the foil. So for Red Queen it's Rise With Us, Rise as Red as the Dawn, and you've got, if you can see there, the blood is all nice, shiny and drippy. It looks exactly like the blood as I would imagine it. And then you have the Glass Sword one, and on the back it says, "Will you kneel or will you bleed?" And it's got the silver blood in it as well. So that's what it originally looks like without the foil. And that's with the foil, obviously. It looks so cool. I highly recommend these bookmarks. Like I said, link to them below. Definitely go check them out. They are Australia based and they ship worldwide. So these are all the books that I got during the month. Quite a lot, but like I said, I've read some of them, I'm reading some of them, and I'm anticipating reading some of them in April. So that is it for today's video. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have read any of these books, and let me know what your thoughts of them are, and let me know some of the books you guys picked up this month, and if you've done a whole video, tell me in the comments below and I will go check it out for myself. So like I said, that is it for today's video, and I will see you guys on Monday with my wrap up and my TBR videos. Bye.